Hi guys, so Boris Johnson's sister Rachel has, according to her own words, broken her silence to give what she believes is a true account of her brother. And well, you'll win no prizes for guessing how that went. She says he isn't interested in drinking like he appears. He no doubt was in the garden for work purposes. And I have to ask, do the Johnsons have pathologically lying embedded in their DNA? Anyway, Rachel delivered this monologue on LBC where she works.
As you might have guessed, it hasn't been the quietest, calmest of weeks. In the Johnson family, and lots of broadcasters, BBC among them, have asked me to contribute on events across Westminster and of course, the repercussions across the country. And I haven't said anything because I talk to you, LBC listeners. I take your calls. And what I say, I want to say to you. And I know that what I'm going to say is going to sound a bit strange, but I didn't see much of the Prime Minister and his family during lockdown. But the times I did see him, he was completely compliant. He dotted every I, he crossed every T.
Well, that's not actually true. And as I said before, is lying in the Johnson family DNA, because you know he was not crossing every T and dotting every I. Because, for example, he visited a hospital where he was not wearing a mask. Now, he probably was wearing the mask when he went in, and he was wearing the mask, I hope, for most of the time. But there are episodes within that hospital where he was not wearing a mask. You can see in this picture everyone else is wearing a mask, but the Prime Minister is not. Now, you can't say that he's somebody who follows the rules, yes, and he crosses every T and dots every I, when we have evidence here of him not doing that. Now, if Boris Johnson forgot to put on the mask when he got into a car, or he forgot to put it on when he was going into a shop or something, that's okay. Is it acceptable? No, but it's understandable. Okay. And, he's human, I think. I have my doubts from time to time, but he makes mistakes, and that's acceptable. Okay, that's understandable. But not in a hospital. In a frigging hospital, where you're supposed to wear a mask at all times. If he's to give an interview, he has to keep the mask on. Here he is, not wearing it. Definitely, I wouldn't call this dotting I's and crossing T's.
If it was rule of six, there were six. And what I didn't see was all the things that you've been reading about. For example, his birthday, it was me, my three brothers, Carrie and Wilf. That was 6 people. And I have to tell you something else about my brother's character. I mean, you've been seeing, obviously, the front pages couldn't have been worse. Suitcases of booze going into Downing Street from the Co-op on the Strand. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that he has never once turned to me or any member of my family and said, I tell you what, let's have an office party. Or I tell you what, let's have a party.
Well, you wouldn't have an office party because he doesn't work at LBC. And you don't work at number 10. So why would he say to you, let's have an office party? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if anything, he would say, let's play reading when we were growing up, or even in our 20s, or let's play who can memorize the most.
Okay, you're talking about Boris Johnson in the past. We don't give a crap about Boris Johnson in the past when he was a child or when he was in his 20s. Like, why is she using arguments of when Boris Johnson was 30 years ago? We're talking about Boris Johnson 30 years ago. He used to do this. Yes, but we're not talking about 30 years ago. We're talking about today.
Most poems from the Oxford Book of Verse as that, who can memorize the most. And of course, it was always him. Look, I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm just telling you what I saw over lockdown and what I know of my brother's character. And to my mind, if he did go out into the garden, and he's told us he did, for him, that would have been work. He may have had a drink. I don't know. Is that one of the key questions? But that...
Did she not see this picture? once again, I have to ask the question, is lying in their DNA? Surely she has seen this picture. Surely she has asked him, Boris, tell me what happened in this picture. Why were you sitting at a table with a glass of wine and a cheese board? Why were you sitting there with your girlfriend and your child when we're supposed to be following rules? Surely she would have asked him this. If she didn't, she doesn't give a crap. Just be honest and say, look, I didn't ask Boris Johnson why he broke the rules because I don't give a crap about the rules. I'd have more respect for her if she said that. But you're honestly telling me that you believed that this was a work meeting? Yeah, it was work and he went out with a glass of wine. Sorry, someone please tell me the last work meeting you were in. Work meeting, not, spilling out and having a glass of wine or a beer or something after. I'm talking about a work meeting where there's a glass of wine on the table, there's cheese, and there is no pen, no paper, no tablets or computers or whiteboards or anything. Please, if somebody has ever attended a business meeting where there's no pens or paper, but there's wine and cheese, I'd love to hear about it. She's attempting to defend her brother. Okay, just say, look, I'm here to defend my brother. He's made a lot of mistakes. I think he's still a good guy. You don't know him as well as I do. Well, that's probably, some of that could be true. But be honest and say, yes, he broke the rules. And if you're trying to paint this wonderful picture of this nice guy who doesn't really care about parties and stuff like that, that surely he would do the honest thing and resign. This doesn't make any sense to me. She's trying to paint this picture of Boris Johnson as this wonderful person who cares, who isn't interested in parties and things like this. But we've seen pictures of him at parties. And she's using the idea of him from 30 years ago, when he was in his 20s, when he was growing up as a child, as some sort of counterbalance or some sort of counter argument, I should say, against Boris Johnson having parties today. Doesn't make any sense at all. Look, let's just be honest. What happened was Boris Johnson went out, he clapped for the NHS, for the key workers, and then he came inside with the rest of the staff, and it was a lovely day. You can see in the picture the sun is shining. It was a lovely day, nice and warm. Let's have some wine and cheese. But Prime Minister, shouldn't we follow the rules? We don't have to follow the rules. We make the rules. And no one's going to do anything about it. And even if somebody tries to do something about it, well, I'm the Prime Minister. I have an 80-seat majority. I got Brexit done. Nothing is going to happen. And that's how the story seems to be unfolding. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?